particular features certainly don't make me think of an ice-covered lake. They don't seem like they belong.
What is that about? And does that have anything to do with all these other pieces that keep emerging?
Beneath the frozen expanse of Antarctica lies a realm of ice and mystery, where the harshest conditions conceal secrets that defy belief. This icy frontier, long thought to be a desolate void, has revealed astonishing discoveries that challenge our understanding of life and nature. Brace yourself as we delve into the 15 most jaw-dropping discoveries from Antarctica, where each revelation pushes the boundaries of what we thought possible. Number 15. Ancient Ice Age Fossils. Breathtaking discoveries have come to light as melting ice reveals remarkably well-preserved fossils from the Ice Age. These incredible finds, captured in stunning footage, showcase the remains of ancient creatures like the woolly mammoth and saber-toothed cats. The woolly mammoth, Mammuthus primigenius, an extinct cousin of modern elephants, lived during the Middle Pleistocene until it vanished during the Holocene epoch. It was among the last mammoths to walk the earth, tracing its ancestry back to the African Mammuthus subplanifrons from millions of years ago. Fossils of woolly mammoths have been found scattered in many types of environments, riverbeds, lakes, and even in Doggerland, a now submerged area beneath the North Sea that was dry during the Ice Age. These fossils are often found in bits and pieces, rarely containing soft tissue. Much like the myth of elephants' graveyards, places thought to be where elephants went to die, large collections of woolly mammoth bones have been discovered. These are believed to have accumulated as the bones of mammoths that died near rivers were gradually carried by the streams and gathered over thousands of years. Some of these bone piles may have come from entire herds wiped out at the same time, possibly due to natural disasters like floods. Others met their fate in natural traps, like sinkholes or deep mud, where they became stuck over time. While most remains are skeletal, there have been rare instances of frozen woolly mammoth bodies discovered in the northern wilderness of Siberia and Alaska, preserved in permafrost for thousands of years. These frozen giants offer a remarkable glimpse into a time long gone. The saber-toothed cat, specifically Smilodon, is another extinct species whose fossils have been uncovered. Known for its dagger-like fangs, Smilodon was a fearsome predator from an ancient era. Though often called a saber-toothed tiger, it wasn't closely related to modern-day tigers or cats. Instead, it belonged to a long-lost family of big, saber-toothed predators called Machaerodontini. Number 14. Giant ice worms. Researchers have recently captured stunning footage of massive, wriggling ice worms squirming through the icy terrain of Antarctica. These strange creatures seem to thrive in the extreme cold, leaving scientists scratching their heads over how they've adapted to such harsh conditions. Ice worms, also called glacier worms, belong to the genus Mesenchytraeus, and unlike their relatives that live in riverbeds or gravel banks, these ice worms are found in frozen glaciers. What makes them so special is that they are the only worms known to spend their entire lives in the glacial ice, even completing their entire life cycle at temperatures below freezing. These fascinating creatures have been discovered in many icy environments, from flat snowfields to avalanche slopes and the icy walls of crevasses. Their bodies are equipped with tiny bristles, called setae, which allow them to grab onto tightly packed ice crystals and pull themselves along, effortlessly moving through their frozen world. They survive by feeding on snow, algae, and bacteria, and can live in temperatures right at freezing. However, if the temperature drops even slightly below freezing, these worms can't survive. According to a researcher from Washington State University, ice worms die when exposed to colder temperatures. The first discovery of these incredible creatures in North America dates back to 1887, when glacier worms were found on the Muir Glacier in Alaska. Since then, they've been found on glaciers in Alaska, Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia. But strangely, nowhere else in the world. Ice worms vary in color. Some are black, blue, or white, and can grow to be several centimeters long. They usually come up to the glacier's surface during the cooler parts of the day, like in the evening or early morning. On the Seattle Glacier in the North Cascades, researchers have estimated a population of over 7 billion ice worms, an astounding number for such a mysterious species. How these worms tunnel through the solid ice remains one of their most intriguing secrets. Some scientists believe they navigate through microscopic cracks in the ice, while others think they might release a chemical that lowers the ice's freezing point. similar to antifreeze. Number 13. Unexplained under ice lake. Cameras captured the breathtaking discovery of Lake Vostok, a massive hidden lake buried nearly 4 kilometers beneath Antarctica's thick ice. This ancient lake, untouched for millions of years, holds crystal-clear waters rich in minerals and is home to strange microorganisms that have evolved in total isolation. By 2012, after drilling 3,770 meters through the ice, a team of Russian scientists finally reached Lake Vostok. They managed to collect water samples to better understand the mysterious lake. These samples contained bacterial DNA, unlike anything ever seen before. The microorganisms living in the lake had adapted to survive not through sunlight, like most life on Earth, but by feeding off the chemicals in the surrounding rocks. This groundbreaking discovery has helped scientists rethink how life can exist without the sun, raising exciting possibilities about life on other planets. However, the initial findings were tainted when the drilling fluids mixed with the samples, casting doubt on the results. To get a clearer picture, the team made another attempt on January 25, 2015. Leading this mission, Vladimir Lipenkov and Nikolai Vasilyev from the National Mineral Resources University allowed water from the lake to rise through the borehole and freeze, creating a fresh, uncontaminated sample of this hidden world. The lack of sunlight in Lake Vostok means that whatever lives there has adapted to an environment vastly different from our own. Some speculate these creatures could have more in common with potential extraterrestrial life than with life on Earth. But opinions are divided. One theory, based on a 1991 drilling test, suggests that the lake could host complex creatures, even fish or crustaceans, as scientists found genetic material from 1,623 different species. On the other hand, another group of researchers, including those from the Petersburg Institute of Nuclear Physics, argues that 14% of the genes found didn't match any known species on Earth. According to Russian scientist Sergei Bulat, if this DNA had been found on Mars, scientists would likely claim it was proof of Martian life. While the DNA is still considered terrestrial, it's clear that Lake Vostok holds many secrets that we've barely begun to understand. Number 12. Mystery ice circles. In March 2010, an image taken over Russia revealed something truly extraordinary: a massive spiral made up of 108 perfectly shaped circles. What makes this sight even stranger is the way the circles vary in size. This incredible image was captured above southern Siberia, on the frozen surface of Lake Baikal, one of the most isolated places on Earth. What makes this discovery so baffling is that these circular patterns don't look like something you'd expect to see on a frozen lake. They seem completely out of place. The circles range from as small as 1.5 feet to several miles across, and they cover an enormous area, 18 square miles in total. While you can see the ice and snow, these mysterious circles are what stand out. Seeing such a precise and elaborate design in nature is extremely rare. It's almost too perfect, leading some to believe it might not be a natural phenomenon at all, but something created by human hands. To create circles like these, someone would have had to venture out onto the ice in temperatures as cold as -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Whoever did this must have gone to incredible lengths. One man may hold the answer to this mystery. Artist Jim Denovan is known for his remarkable talent in crafting large, perfect circles. Denovan explained that, through years of practice, he's able to create a flawless circle in just 13 minutes. For him, finishing a circle is a powerful experience. In 2010, Denovan took on an ambitious challenge. He and a group of artists braved the harsh Siberian wilderness to create what he hoped would be the world's largest drawing. Lake Baikal was the ideal canvas for this dream. Over 15 grueling days and nights, Denovan and his team etched a giant spiral of circles into the lake's icy surface. The design began with a circle as small as a dinner plate and grew larger and larger, with the biggest circle spanning nearly 10 miles in circumference, the size of a small city. Number 11. Antarctic Aurora Borealis. Auroras are a common sight in the Arctic, but their southern counterpart, known as the Southern Lights, is much rarer. When the aurora lights up the Antarctic sky, It creates an extraordinary spectacle of vibrant colors that are a true feast for the eyes. The Antarctic Aurora, or Aurora australis, paints the night with dazzling shades of green, red, and sometimes violet, giving a rare glimpse into the magic of the southern skies. In the north, this phenomenon is called the Aurora Borealis, or Northern Lights. At Australia's Antarctic and subantarctic stations, explorers are some of the fortunate few who regularly witness these breathtaking displays during the long, dark winters. But auroras are not just about beauty. They're a fascinating part of space weather. They occur high above the ground, between 90 and 250 kilometers, and give scientists valuable information about what's happening at the edge of space. Researchers from the Australian Antarctic Program are studying a variety of atmospheric events that take place in these high-altitude zones, including those in the stratosphere and mesosphere. Their work helps us better understand the connection between what happens in Antarctica and how it affects the rest of the world, even influencing weather and climate predictions. Auroras happen when the Earth's upper atmosphere reacts with a powerful stream of charged particles from the sun, known as solar wind. As the solar wind races toward Earth at incredible speeds of 400 to 700 kilometers per second, most of it flies off into space. However, some of the particles are pulled toward Earth's magnetic poles, accelerating at speeds of tens of thousands of kilometers per second. When these fast-moving particles collide with gases like oxygen and nitrogen in the atmosphere, they create bursts of light. The color of the light, whether green, red, or violet, depends on the type of gas and the altitude of the collision. Although auroras can sometimes appear pink or white, this is usually because of how our eyes perceive low light, or due to the camera's settings. Whether you're seeing them with your own eyes or through a camera lens, auroras remain one of nature's most stunning and mysterious shows. Number 10. Enormous iceberg calving. Satellite images have confirmed that a massive iceberg has finally broken off from Antarctica's Ross Ice Shelf. This huge chunk of ice separated when a crack known as Chasm 1 stretched far enough to cut off the western part of the ice shelf. The crack had been inactive for decades, but began to grow again in 2012. After years of barely holding on, images from the Copernicus Sentinel satellites confirmed that the break had finally happened. Although the exact timing of the split was a bit surprising, scientists had been expecting it for some time. Glaciologists have closely watched the Ross Ice Shelf, which sits along Antarctica's coast, monitoring the cracks that have been forming in the thick ice for years. They knew that eventually, Chasm 1 would meet up with another crack called the Halloween Crack, which appeared in 2016. The newly formed iceberg is expected to be named A81, with a smaller piece to the north, likely to be called A81A or A82. Icebergs are named using a system that starts with a capital letter for the Antarctic region where they were first seen, followed by a number, and if they break into smaller parts, an additional letter is added. The British Antarctic Survey-BAS- reported that the iceberg split from the ice shelf during a spring tide. The Halley 6 research station, where scientists have been monitoring the ice shelf, was unaffected by the event. The station was moved to a safer spot in 2017, and it now sits about 20 kilometers away from where the rupture occurred. ESA's Mark Drinkwater noted that after years of monitoring, the long-anticipated break of iceberg A81 finally occurred. He praised the decision to move the Halley station, which ensured its safety, and highlighted how satellite imagery from the Copernicus missions has allowed scientists to track the entire event in great detail. Dominic Hodgson, a BAS glaciologist, added that this calving event is a natural part of how the Ross Ice Shelf behaves and isn't connected to climate change. The science teams will continue to monitor the area to ensure it remains safe and to keep up their important research. In February 2021, another giant iceberg broke off from the northern part of the Ross Ice Shelf and has since drifted away into the Weddell Sea. Number 9. Rare penguin species. Cameras have recorded the interesting lives of emperor penguins, showing their strange behavior and how they interact with one another. These penguins are the largest in the world, with most standing about 45 inches tall. Even though they can't fly, they do well in some of the coldest places on Earth, on the icy lands of Antarctica and in the freezing waters around it. To survive in such harsh conditions, emperor penguins depend on their bodies and teamwork. One of their best-known methods is gathering together in big groups to block the wind and share body heat. They take turns standing in the warmest, safest spots in the middle, giving each penguin a chance to warm up. After getting cozy, they move back to the outer edge, so another penguin can take their place in the warm center. They spend the entire freezing winter out on the ice, and they even choose to have their babies during this rough season. Each female lays just one egg, but instead of staying to look after it, she heads off on a long hunting trip that can take up to 2 months. To reach the ocean, she might have to waddle up to 50 miles, depending on how far the ice has spread. Once she gets to the water, she feasts on fish, squid, and krill, diving deeper than any other bird and staying underwater for over 20 minutes. Back on the ice, the male penguins take over caring for the eggs, but unlike many birds, they don't sit on the eggs. Instead, they carefully balance the eggs on their feet, tucking them under a special flap of warm, feathered skin called a brood pouch. For 2 long months, the males don't eat anything. They endure the cold, all while making sure their precious eggs stay warm and safe. When the females finally return, their bellies full of food, they feed their newly hatched chicks by bringing up the food they've stored. With their part done, the tired fathers leave to hunt and fill up their empty stomachs. The mothers, meanwhile, keep looking after the chicks, keeping them snug in their brood pouches. In the tough Antarctic environment, even a few minutes outside this warm spot could be deadly for the tiny chicks. By December, when the Antarctic summer starts, the ice begins to break apart and open water shows up close to the breeding areas. This happens just in time for the young penguins to take their first swim and start hunting for food on their own, ready to face the icy world. Number 8. Hidden subglacial volcano. High-resolution satellite images and drone footage have uncovered something astonishing beneath Antarctica's thick ice. A previously unknown volcano hiding below the surface. This hidden giant may have recently shown signs of activity, causing excitement among scientists who are eager to understand its role in shaping the region's landscape. Antarctica is home to the largest group of glacial volcanoes on the planet. They stretch across a vast distance, about 5,000 kilometers, starting from the sub-Antarctic South Sandwich Islands, through the Antarctic Peninsula, Marie Byrd Land, and reaching as far as East Antarctica. These volcanoes began to form around the same time the massive Antarctic ice sheet developed. Most of them are made from basalt, a type of volcanic rock, with only a few showing more complex formations. These volcanic giants come in various shapes and sizes. Some of the biggest are towering stratovolcanoes that rise to 4,000 meters above sea level, with bases stretching 40 to 60 kilometers wide. Others are smaller volcanic fields made up of numerous smaller centers. Although stunningly beautiful, these volcanoes are buried under thick layers of snow and ice, and because they're located in some of the most remote areas of the world, getting close to them is no easy feat. Unlike volcanoes in warmer regions, which are often covered by dense forests and vegetation, Antarctica's volcanic outcrops are uniquely clean and visually striking. In places like northern Victoria Land, you can find towering cliffs up to 2 kilometers high, extending for 10 to 20 kilometers. But many volcanoes in the Antarctic Peninsula have been eroded by the movement of ice sheets over millions of years, leaving only traces behind. One fascinating feature of Antarctic volcanoes, especially those that erupt under the ice, is that they form alternating layers of lava and fragmented rocks. This combination creates profiles that resemble both stratovolcanoes and shield volcanoes, with slopes gentler than 15 degrees. This has made it tricky for scientists to classify them into just one category. A striking example is the Subglacial volcano on James Ross Island. Dissected by the Antarctic Peninsula ice sheet, it offers a window into ancient climates, preserving glacial sediment and volcanic layers that provide a rare record of Earth's distant past. Number 7. Mystery of the Blood Falls. The vibrant red color of blood falls has been described in vivid detail, captivating both researchers and onlookers with its strange and beautiful look. This remarkable sight, which results from iron oxide staining the ice, continues to intrigue many. Blood Falls was discovered in 1911 by geologist Griffith Taylor. It flows from the Taylor Glacier, creating an eerie red glow that instantly draws attention. This glacier is part of a vast ice field in East Antarctica, where temperatures can drop to around -17 degrees Celsius, making it one of the coldest places on our planet. Despite these frigid temperatures, Blood Falls keeps flowing, and its striking red color has puzzled scientists for over 100 years. Initially, many believed that the color was caused by red algae. However, recent studies have uncovered something truly remarkable. Using radar technology, scientists explored the layers of ice and discovered an extensive network of hidden rivers and even a lake beneath the glacier. This lake is filled with highly salty water known as brine, which is rich in iron. The high salt content prevents the brine from freezing in the cold, as it lowers the freezing point and generates heat when it freezes. This heat melts the surrounding ice, allowing the rivers to keep flowing. The brine, loaded with iron, is what gives Blood Falls its distinctive red hue. This brine comes from a lake located beneath the glacier and is pushed through cracks in the ice under high pressure. As the brine flows and freezes, it continues to release heat, helping to keep the water in a liquid state. In addition to its striking appearance, Blood Falls is home to unique microorganisms that thrive in these extreme conditions. These tiny life forms feed on sulfates in the water and generate energy similarly to how humans do when we consume food. Number 6. Antarctic Ice Caves. Surprising images showcase the beautiful and complex ice caves formed inside the glaciers of Antarctica. These visuals show the caves' crystal-clear walls and captivating shapes. Deep within the icy landscape of Antarctica, there exist enormous, warm ice caves created by the heat from an active volcano. Researchers now believe that these caves could be home to life, or at least, they might have supported life in the past. On Ross Island, the average temperature hovers around 1 degree Fahrenheit, with miles of ice blanketing the area, making it an inhospitable place for life. However, within the cave systems that have melted due to volcanic activity, temperatures can rise to a balmy 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Moreover, in some areas, the ice is thin enough to allow a gentle stream of light to filter through. These conditions create a potentially welcoming environment for life to thrive. The source of these remarkable ice caves is Mount Erebus, an active volcano known for its shallow reservoirs of hot magma. This volcano releases steam that travels through open spaces, creating melt pathways throughout the intricate network of caves. A recent study published in the journal Polar Biology was carried out by a research team from Australia National University. They collected soil samples from the ice caves, uncovering DNA from various eukaryotic organisms, including algae, moss, and tiny invertebrates. Although there was no definitive proof of currently living organisms, the findings suggest that life once flourished in these caves. Scientists recognize that they have only begun to scratch the surface of understanding these ice caves, as there are extensive networks of interconnected caves that remain unexplored. Antarctica is home to more than a dozen active volcanoes, each with its unique ice caves. While radar techniques can map these caves, most of them remain inaccessible to humans. The research team plans to delve deeper into the ice caves, hoping to uncover evidence of living organisms. Number 5. Underwater Antarctic life. Rare footage captured beneath the Antarctic ice has unveiled an astonishing variety of marine life that thrives in this harsh environment. The images show fascinating species like Antarctic krill and icefish, showcasing a vibrant ecosystem flourishing in one of the coldest places on our planet. Recently, researchers made an exciting discovery. Life exists buried under a staggering 3,000 feet of ice in Antarctica, challenging long-held beliefs that nothing could survive in such extreme conditions. Scientists had previously thought that the icy temperatures, lack of sunlight, and scarcity of food in Antarctica made it impossible for living creatures to thrive. These remarkable organisms were found clinging to a boulder deep in the frigid waters beneath the Filchner-Ronne ice shelf. Experts from the British Antarctic Survey drilled down through an impressive 2,860 feet of ice to collect samples from the seafloor. However, instead of just retrieving samples, they encountered something unexpected when their camera came upon a boulder. Upon reviewing the footage, they were astonished to discover an array of life forms. The video revealed two types of mysterious stationary animals. One type, displayed in red, appears to have long, slender stalks, while another, highlighted in white, resembles a round, sponge-like creature. These unique animals were located approximately 160 miles from the open sea, a striking distance for life to exist in such isolation. Scientists are now eager to investigate further to determine if these creatures belong to an entirely new species, opening the door to exciting possibilities about life in extreme environments. Number 4. Footage of the Antarctic Dry Valleys. Camera traps have captured the stunning yet empty beauty of the Antarctic Dry Valleys, one of the driest places on Earth. This footage showcases the unique landscapes and the few life forms that have adapted to survive in such a harsh environment. In these dry valleys, scientists have discovered endolithic bacteria, which find shelter from the dry air within the moist insides of rocks. During the summer, melting glaciers provide essential nutrients to the soil, allowing life to continue in this tough climate. Researchers believe the dry valleys may be the most similar place on Earth to Mars, making them a key source for understanding possible life beyond our planet. Deep under the Taylor Glacier, anaerobic bacteria thrive in freezing temperatures, using iron and sulfur for their energy. Previously, scientists thought that the reddish stains appearing at blood falls were due to algae. However, they have now learned that the bright color is caused by high levels of iron oxide. In 2013, a team of researchers from Ireland and the United States set out on a journey to University Valley. Their goal was to study the tiny life forms and to test a drill designed for collecting Martian soil in the frozen ground of the dry valleys, which closely resembles the Martian surface. To their surprise, they found no living organisms in the frozen ground, marking this as the first location on Earth where humans found no active microbial life. In 2014, a team from Auckland University of Technology, AUT, used drones to map the plant life in the McMurdo Dry Valleys. The following year, the New Zealand Antarctic Research Institute provided funding for AUT to improve its methods for using unmanned aerial vehicles. Over several summer seasons in Antarctica, the AUT team produced detailed three-dimensional maps with very fine resolution, establishing important starting points for future research. Number 3. Fascinating ice formations. In amazing detail, images show the interesting and different ice formations that cover Antarctica, ranging from tall ice towers that reach for the sky to delicate frost crystals that shine like gems. Around Antarctica, there are about 300 ice shelves, which together cover about 3/4 of the continent's coastline. This area is roughly equal to the entire Greenland ice sheet. The size of ice shelves can be surprising. Some are similar to small countries and can be over 100 feet thick. The largest ice shelf in the world, the Ross Ice Shelf, is almost as big as France. It ends in a stunning ice cliff that stretches more than 600 kilometers long, rising to 150 meters above the ocean's surface. While ice shelves float on the sea, they are different from sea ice. These floating giants are extensions of the Antarctic ice sheet and consist of freshwater ice that has come from the continent itself. One important difference between the ice sheet and its floating shelves is that melting ice shelves do not add to rising sea levels. Because they float, they have already pushed up an equal amount of water, just like how an ice cube raises the water level in a glass. However, Ice shelves play a key role in reducing sea level rise by acting as a barrier that slows the movement of the ice sheet. Unlike the ancient ice sheets and shelves that have taken thousands of years to form, Antarctic sea ice develops much more quickly, within weeks, days, or even hours. When ocean temperatures drop below 28.4 degrees Fahrenheit, seawater begins to freeze, leading to the formation of small ice crystals. These crystals slowly build up, creating slush that eventually turns into solid ice. The specific process of sea ice formation is affected by the conditions of the ocean. In calm, sheltered bays, sea ice may first appear as a thin layer on the surface, gradually getting thicker over time. In rougher waters, ice crystals can form in both shallow and deep areas, where they collide and stick together to create larger pieces of sea ice over time. Number 2. Antarctic Research Stations. On October 25, 2019, 2 important studies funded by the Human Research Program finished gathering their final bits of data for the 2019 winter season at 2 locations, the McMurdo Station and the South Pole's Amundsen-Scott Station, both run by the National Science Foundation-NSF. These 2 separate research projects were cleverly combined into one larger study, allowing them to share procedures and data. In total, 24 people participated, 4 at the South Pole and 20 at McMurdo, between April and October 2019. The U.S. Antarctic Program USAP runs McMurdo Station, and it's a key spot for scientists. They believe that the harsh conditions in Antarctica, the cold, isolation, and difficult terrain, are similar to what astronauts will face on long space missions. At McMurdo, research covers a wide range of topics, including astronomy, atmospheric sciences, biology, geology, marine biology, climate studies, and more. It's a bustling hub for scientific discovery. Out of the 3 U.S. Antarctic stations, Palmer Station is the only one that's easily accessible during the harsh winter months. It has a well-equipped lab and is perfect for research in areas like biology, meteorology, and marine ecosystems. Palmer's research focuses heavily on the Antarctic marine ecosystem, such as how sea ice habitats work and how seabird predators nest. The station also monitors seismic activity, the atmosphere, UV radiation, and even lightning over the Western Hemisphere all year round. There's also a fascinating program called ANSMET, funded by the National Science Foundation. This program hunts for meteorites in the Transantarctic Mountains. Number 1. Normal wildlife encounters. Antarctica is a place unlike any other, filled with amazing and unique animals. Unlike anywhere else on Earth, it has no land-based mammals, but is home to a remarkable variety of sea creatures and birds, most famously, penguins. Penguins are the most common birds here, with 18 different types living in this icy world, including the well-known emperor penguin. A huge, frozen land where the cold seems to go on forever, creating a magical scene of ice and snow. Yet, in this tough environment, a surprising variety of animals have learned to survive, adjusting perfectly to the freezing conditions. Antarctica's wildlife gives us a rare and special view into a world where staying alive is a skill, and nature's beauty is shown in its purest form. Visiting Antarctica isn't just about seeing giant glaciers or endless stretches of ice. It's about stepping into a place where life has managed to grow and thrive against all challenges. As you explore this icy wilderness, you'll be amazed by the wonderful animals that live there. One of the most eye-catching creatures you might see is orcas, also known as killer whales. With their striking black and white colors, these strong hunters move through the icy waters with great skill and beauty. For those daring enough to kayak in these waters, meeting an orca is an unforgettable thrill. Think of the excitement as these huge animals glide quickly and quietly through the waves, making it a once-in-a-lifetime experience for any adventurer. Antarctica, with its stunning beauty and tough wildlife, promises an adventure like no other. a journey into the heart of one of Earth's last great wild places, where every animal is a sign of the power to adapt and survive. Which of these shocking mysteries caught on camera in Antarctica did you find the most intriguing? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.